Hey, what is up there, guys? CGF Shock here with CGF Blitz.
Hello there, guys.
Welcome to our brand new channels. This is going to be one of the many series you'll see on each of our channels. We're going to try and bring this out to you weekly, aren't we, Alfie?
Yeah, hopefully.
So basically, as you can tell by the screens in front of you, we are going to be doing our Premier League predictions. So the fixtures for every week, we are going to be predicting them, myself and Alfie. We're going to be talking about how we think the games are going to go, each one of them for that particular week, and what we think the scorelines are going to be. So Alfie, our first game is...
Hull versus Leicester.
Right, so kicking off the weekend, we have Hull versus Leicester, as you can see. I think Leicester are going to win it 2-0, obviously, just coming off the back of a historic Premier League win. I don't know if they're going to do quite as well this season as they did in the last, but you know, I still think they'll be up there and around the top four. They probably won't make it into the top four, but they'll be in and around there. And Hull, obviously newly promoted, lost their manager Steve Bruce, and I think Diarmay, who was one of their star players last year, has transferred to Newcastle, who obviously got relegated. So I think they're going to feel those losses, and like I said, 2-0 win for Leicester. I reckon that's going to end up in. How do you feel about it,
I
Alfie?
think Leicester are going to win 2-1.
Right, okay.
And here's their head-to-head. I'm going to say the head-to-heads in this one, on these games, Sam. So,
Okay.
Leicester have had 4 wins, 3 draws, and Hull City have had 2 wins.
What, in their last 9 meetings, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you can hear from that, Leicester have got a fairly decent record against Hull, but isn't it right that they played each other in the Capital One Cup last year and Hull knocked them out on penalties?
6-5.
6-5 on penalties, right? So Hull won their last meeting, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes in this one. So should we move on to the next fixture, Alfie? Oh
Yep.
no, sorry. What you said 2-1, didn't you?
Yep, I
Yep.
said it.
Excuse me. Alright, Burnley versus Swansea. How do you feel about this one? What do you reckon the score's going to be?
2-0 to Swansea, as Burnley have just come up. I think they'll struggle this season. Although, didn't they finish first?
Burnley, yeah, I believe they did win the championship, yeah.
Yeah, I still think they're going to struggle though. So
Yeah.
I reckon 2-0 for this game.
I know they've got a couple of decent players. I've got Andre Gray, who I know of, and I can't think of their other striker. It escapes me, but Swansea obviously didn't have the best of seasons last year, but I think they're going to improve a little bit this season. They've lost a couple of players. They've obviously lost Andre Ayew to your club, Alfie.
Yep, West Ham.
Yeah, I'm sure you're happy about that.
Actually, yeah.
Who was one of their better players last year. And obviously Bafétimbi Gomez, I think he went off to the French league. I'm not sure. I know he left Swansea though, so they may feel those losses. But I went with a 2-1 win to Swansea either way, and I think they're going to win that game. Alfie, how have their recent meetings been? What's the record between each other?
The recent meetings, they haven't actually played 9 games. It's just the way it works out. So Swansea have had 3 wins, 0 draws, and Burnley have had 1 win.
Right. Okay. So
they've kind of struggled there. But
right, in their last 4 meetings,
it's looking like Swansea should get another win.
Yeah, when was what was their last result?
Their last result was 1-0 to Swansea.
1-0 to Swansea. Oh, all right, okay. I guess that was 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah.
14-15 season, yeah. All right then, let's move on to the next fixture.
Okay.
Stoke versus Middlesbrough, or Middlesbrough versus Stoke. Well, it's a home game for Middlesbrough, who obviously just got recently promoted. Astonishingly promoted. A bit like Bournemouth last year, no one was expecting it really. Stoke, Although, like Stoke, we know they're just an absolute force at home. They're a completely different animal, but obviously they're away in this match. And I think they've still got quite a bit of quality there. They've got obviously Arnautovic, Shaqiri, Bojan. They've got quite a few decent players who I think could teach Middlesbrough a lesson or two. But I know Middlesbrough brought in some decent players that I was quite surprised they managed to sign. They've also brought in Negredo, who was ex Man City, I believe, and they brought in I think they brought in Brad Guzan and um, what's his name? That Spanish goalkeeper. Um, I forget the name anyway. But I still think Stoke are going to win this 2-0. How do you feel about it, Alfie?
I think that they are going to draw 1-1. Not sure why, just like gut instinct that it's going to be 1-0.
Yeah, I don't think that's completely out of the question. I think that's
I
it's
mean,
quite a reasonable prediction.
they haven't played in a while, so there is no head-to-head. So I can't really predict
in, like,
this one.
the last few years.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, obviously Stoke have been in the Premier League and Middlesbrough haven't. So yeah, should we move on to the next fixture?
Yep. All right.
Man City versus Sunderland. This could quite easily be a complete turnover from Man City, but I'd put it down as 2-0 because Man City, they had a bit of a mixed pre-season. Obviously, they've got their new manager, Pep Guardiola, arguably the best manager in the world. Signed some very good players. They've obviously signed John Stones the other day for like 50 million. I don't believe he's worth that, but he's English, which obviously makes the price go up, doesn't it? For whatever reason. And they've strengthened their squad a considerable amount under him so far. So I only went with a 2-0 victory. I don't know. It may take Guardiola a little bit of time to find his feet with Man City. And Sunderland, I know they've just lost Big Sam, who obviously got appointed as the New England manager. But I don't think they're going to get absolutely battered. His first game of the season, I can see it only being 2-0 to Man City.
I reckon 3-0 to Man City. Only because of their new manager, Pep Guardiola. I reckon he'll do quite well for Manchester City.
Yeah.
Although his new signing, John Stones, bit much of a price there, Sam, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
They probably could have bought in a more decent player. I don't know about John Stones. I don't really rate him.
No.
And Sunderland, you just don't know how they're going to do with their new manager.
No, I'm not even sure. I don't even know who their new manager is, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I reckon Big Sam, if he stayed, he would have done a good job. Obviously, he took over about halfway through the season. Yeah, I'm just going for a 3-0 win to Man City.
I think. Sorry to interrupt. I thought you were going to say something there, but
I'm finished.
I think the thing with Man City is they brought in John Stones as a defender. I don't think they've actually signed any other defenders, and I believe that's where Man City's biggest problem lies, is their defence. Like Mangala, he was well overpriced. There's no denying that. Otamendi,
yep.
You can argue he flopped last season.
Doing his hair against the West Ham game. Let the goal go straight in.
Company, I think he's still injured. He's injured all the time, and Clichy's knocking on a bit. Sanya, they're all getting a bit old, and I don't think the defence is amazing. They've obviously strengthened, like, in attack, but I don't think that's really where they needed to be strengthening. I think they needed to strengthen their defence a bit more, but we'll see how they go. And yeah, like I said, 2-0 victory is on the cards in my opinion. So we move on to Crystal Palace West Brom.
Yep.
I tipped this as a 1-1. I wasn't really too sure about this. Tell you the truth, I don't have any idea of any signatures that either of them Actually, no. Crystal Palace have been a little bit active in the market.
James Tompkins, good defender.
They signed Steve Mandander as well, I believe, who's going to be excellent for them in goal. Other than that, I'm not even too sure who else they've signed. Same with West Brom.
Yeah.
I'm sure I know they have signed some other people, but I just can't remember
Doesn't
off the top of my
doesn't
head.
doesn't really tend to pop up in your newsfeed, does it? For some
No,
reason.
not really. Crystal Palace or West Brom.
No.
I don't know. I think Crystal Palace really weakened towards the second half of last Premier League season with Pardew. I think he only won like a couple of games after Christmas. Obviously, he took them to the FA Cup final, which took the Premier League stress off of them a little bit. But I don't know. I went with a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I went with a 2-2 draw, and
Right,
there's not
okay.
really much to say about these two teams, is there?
Not that I can think of. Yeah. Sorry about the lack of info on these two teams, guys. Let's just move on to the next game, shall we?
Yep.
Right, Everton versus Tottenham Hotspur. It hurts me to say that name.
Arsenal fan there.
Yeah. But I think Everton. I've been getting annoyed with Everton over this transfer window as an Arsenal fan, because every player we seem to get linked with, Everton then get linked with because I know they've got a new owner and Ronald Koeman has just taken over as their manager. But the most recent signing was Ashley Williams, who I would have liked at Arsenal quite happily. It looks like we're getting Mustafi anyway, but we'll talk about that when it's the Arsenal match. But I think Ronald Koeman, he was really impressive at Southampton, and I think if Wenger was to have left at the beginning of the summer, I would have loved to have seen Ronald Koeman take over Arsenal. And I think he's going to do really well for Everton. It's going to be completely different to what Martin has achieved with them. I think we can all sort of guarantee that. But I went with a 2-2 draw because I really believe that we're going to see the best out of Everton over this season, and I think Koeman is really going to bring the best out in them. They've been linked with some really big name players that I know they haven't actually managed to sign, but they've been linked with like Mahrez, Lacazette. That's why they've been annoying me in this transfer window, because seem to be after all the players we're after. But you know, I'll give them respect, of course. And yeah, 2-2 draw. What do you reckon, Alfie?
I reckon a 2-2 draw as well, for the same reasons that you gave.
Right. Okay. Didn't really say much about Tottenham there, and
Shall I give a head-to-head?
oh yeah, you can do, I suppose.
Right, so Tottenham have actually won more than Everton.
Yeah.
Tottenham have 4 wins, 5 draws, and 3 wins for Everton.
Right. Okay. So that's their
So,
last.
Not bad from Everton, but
12
they could
wins.
make it 4-5-4 altogether.
Yeah.
Everton
Okay.
could.
So what was their last game?
Their last game was 1-0, and
Right.
the game
Okay.
before that was 0-0.
Right. Okay. So not much to separate them before, and we've both got it down. There's nothing to separate them here.
Yep.
So let's move on to our next fixture. Southampton versus Watford. Well, Watford, they were quite impressive in the first half of last season. I remember them being in like 7th place in the league table near around Christmas, which really impressed me, considering they were newly promoted. But Southampton, obviously, they've been very impressive the last couple of seasons. But this season, they've lost Ronald Koeman, obviously, to Everton, we spoke about. And that's really going to affect them, I think. I don't even know who they brought in as a manager. But I know they've also lost Sadio Mane to Liverpool, of course, which I think they're going to feel the loss of him quite substantially. And I can actually see Watford doing them on this. I can see Watford actually poaching the game 1-0. Your thoughts, Alfie?
haven't really got a lot of thoughts, but I reckon 2-1. Again,
2-1 to
gut
who?
instinct. Watford.
Right, okay.
Just gut instinct, I reckon.
Alright, okay. Obviously one thing I didn't mention is that Kike Flores actually got sacked at the end of last season, which really surprised a lot of people, because he did really well for Watford in many people's eyes, including mine. So it'll be interesting to see how both of these teams do without their previous managers. Should we move on to the next one?
Yep.
Alright, Bournemouth versus Manchester United. Arguably,
Yep.
arguably David versus Goliath here. Manchester United
Have signed a lot of players.
Yep, you could say. Not so much a lot, but just
Good players.
very good players. Obviously, we heard about Pogba earlier this week for unbelievable amounts of money. Like, what was it? £89 million.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
And then Ibra.
They got Ibrahimovic on a free, and they also got Mkhitaryan from Borussia Dortmund. All three of them very, very good signings. They just got a very solid team. They also signed Eric Bailey from, I think it was Villarreal. Don't quote me on that, but I know it was some Spanish club, and he's meant to be rated very highly. And I can see this should be in a walk in the park for the United. Obviously under Mourinho now, 3-0 is what I've gone for. Absolute. I think Man United are going to dominate this game from start to finish. What are your thoughts?
Well, it says on the screen 3-3, but I've done that wrong.
Really?
Yep. I meant to say 3-0. That's
3-0.
I meant to say 3-0 to Manchester United. But, yeah. Sorry, guys, for that mistake. We'll just add it in now.
Alright, do you want me to wait for a bit before you move to the next one, or should I just go ahead?
Go ahead.
Alright, okay. Right then, so, Arsenal versus Liverpool, my club versus, a club that, beat Barcelona 4-0, about a week ago. Which,
About a week ago.
don't even go there. So yeah, I was a little bit scared after they beat Barcelona 4-0, but then the next day they lost 4-0 to Mainz. So
Kind of made up for it.
yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure whether I should be scared or not about this match. But our centre back issue at the moment really does scare me. And obviously we've got Mertesacker and Gabriel both injured. We've got Koscielny who's still having a break because France get to the final of the Euros. So it looks like we're going to be relying on the services of Callum Chambers and Rob Holding at centre back. Or there is some talk that we may play Chambers and Monreal at centre back, putting Gibbs in at left back, which wouldn't be so bad, I suppose. But I think we're going to struggle without our big defenders. So I went with a 2-1 win to Arsenal. I sort of went with my heart rather than my brain. I don't know. What do you think about it, Alfie?
I went 2-1 because Liverpool have gone a bit downhill. We beat them 7-1 overall last season.
Yeah, but they brought in Klopp now, and now he's got the time to experiment with his own players. So
yeah, I suppose, but we still did beat them under Klopp.
Yeah, but now, well, he's had the pre-season to get his players in order. Well, sorry, what result did you say?
I said 2-1 to Arsenal.
Alright, okay. So, yeah, we both got the same result for that. I know, before you jump in the comments section and say we signed Mustafi, that deal isn't finalised yet, and even if it is finalised by the time this video goes up, or by the time you're watching this, I very much doubt it's going to be available for Sunday. So, yeah, 2-1 to Arsenal is what we both said. Obviously, well, I say obviously, but you may not know if you're not an Arsenal fan. Drew to them both times last season, 3-3 his second fixture, 0-0 the first fixture. Arsenal versus Liverpool, so you never know what might happen. Yeah, let's just move on to the next one.
Yep. Chelsea versus West Ham.
Your club. I'll let you talk about this one, Alfie.
Hey. Well, shame it's not at the Olympic Stadium / London Stadium, whatever they want to call it. Would have been good for us to play there, but unfortunately it's the away leg. I reckon we'll do quite well. I reckon we'll beat them 2-1.
Do you?
Not sure though, because
Got their new manager in.
yeah.
Batshuayi, who you were after. Remember that?
Yeah.
Managed to sign him.
Well, we've got a few players coming. Not necessarily good players.
Well, I think Fagouli's a very good signing.
Yeah, Faguli.
Especially
quite a few
on a free.
players. Yeah, quite a good player on a free. So we've got Ashley Fletcher on a free as well. Manuel Lanzini is fully signed now for us. He was on loan.
Right.
Mazuka, is that how you say it?
I don't know. Who?
Anyway, he come from Olympiacos. We got him, and we got Nordveit as well.
I've heard of him. He came from some.
Although we have got rid of Elliot Lee, Joey O'Brien, and James Tompkins, so James Tompkins could be a bit of a blow to our club, as we have just lost Aaron Cresswell.
Yes, of course.
Injured. So
Yep.
hopefully Sam Byron might be able to take his place for now, even though he is a right back / right mid. Yeah, hopefully he should do well.
Well,
what's yours, Sam?
I actually went for Chelsea to pip you on this one. I went for 1-0 to Chelsea.
Oh.
I think Hazard's got to come good now. Like, he was bad for pretty much the whole of last season. Sort of sparked into life towards the end. And then I was quite impressed with him over the course of the Euros. As much as I hate Chelsea and I prefer West Ham, I'm really quite scared about Chelsea this season. Actually, they're going to be a big force. Obviously, they flopped last season under Mourinho at the start, but Husi didn't put them back on track. But now now Conte, he hasn't had much time to put his stamp on the place. He's only made a couple of signings. I know Batshuayi is going to be a very pivotal signing for them, I think. But we're going to have to see. I went 1-0 to Chelsea, and I think Eden Hazard is going to really battle Payet in that match, and I think it's going to be a very interesting game to watch, actually. I'm looking forward to watching that one. So, Alfie, that concludes our predictions video.
Yep.
Our first one. So, guys, if you have enjoyed the first video on our channels and the first video or first episode of this series, please be sure to leave a like on both of our videos. If you want to check out each other, like if you're on my channel and you want to watch Alfie's, for some reason, it's basically the same apart from what you see on screen. Obviously, it's Alfie's results rather than mine.
Yep.
And if you want to do the other, links will be down in the description to each of our channels. If you haven't really enjoyed this episode or have any suggestions on how we can improve this series, please let us know why in the comment section down below. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Subscribe if you're excited for this channel. We're also going to be probably uploading stuff like FIFA, GTA, Call of Duty.
Lots of live streams to come.
Yes, we will be live streaming quite often, I reckon. So,
yep.
I think that's about all I have to say. You got anything else to say, Alfie?
No, not really. Just hope you enjoy the series.
Yep, I do too. So, guys, Thanks for watching this episode, and until next time, adios.
See ya!